Good afternoon and welcome to Four Pines Park on Tuesday night in the Simulation Rugby League Premiership. Round 7 action, the business end of the season. It's the Warriors away to the Manly Seagulls. My name is Logan Strange. Joining me on here Tuesday night, as per usual, Jack O'Neill. Jack, how are we?
Oh, mate, I am so pumped. We are in the best time of year. We are almost in finals footy. We've got possibly a future finals matchup on the cards tonight. This is a big, big game. For mainly the Warriors, they've got to win to solidify a finals spot. So there's a lot on the line for Chance Bunce's side.
A lot on the line indeed. The Seagulls, 8 in a row at the moment, setting the record last week for the most wins on the trot in the SRL. It's Will Kay who gets the game underway. Round 7 for season 3 in the Simulation Rugby League. And as per usual, John Nanai straight up into that Manly defensive line for the first run of the game. As the Warriors will look to settle things down. McCartney decides to come left early, obviously to the wing of Nehana Borton-Thompson, who had one of his best games of the season last week. In fact, the Warriors in general, their outside backs were absolutely devastating from long range.
Get back, look at me.
As they spread it through the hands, again, still just trying to test out this Manly defence that has been on point so far this season. Awatiri will kick, forcing Malachi Booth backwards. That the tall young rookie does well, stretching his arms backwards. So a good set for the Warriors, getting through that opening one with no problems at all.
Yeah, it was a really good first set from the Warriors. A great kick there from Nika Awatiri. But the Manly defence was really, really solid to start the game. John Nanai took 2 really tough runs that were really inspiring for his side. But Blackburn, he looks really solid on the edge so far as he makes a strong break. Good ball playing and a long pass out to Goodwin. That's a good footy from Manly early.
Early opportunities for Manly as they go inside. It was Ashford making a good tackle on Jesse Bennett. About 21 metres out here. Final tackle as Harris gets in the way of Butterfield. And an unfortunate error there by the captain as Bunce gets in some open territory on the first tackle. Looks like he's had a bit of a haircut, Chance Bunce. Sporting a new fro and a bit of fluff on the top lip as well. Halfway.
Is that a bad thing, Kamish? When he's been playing so good, suddenly he changes his hair. Is that mental scars? Is that a bad idea?
The Omens will be looking down and making their decisions at around about the halfway mark. But needless to say, Chance Bunce always looks good on the field. So the Warriors, 18 metres out, they will get to their final tackle. They'll go deep for McCartney to put it high. Came off the side of the boot by the looks, chased by Simons, but no real room to move for Isaac there. And the Warriors forced to defend from inside the Manly 30 as Goodwin palms off one, pushes through another. Takes a couple of Warriors players to take him down, but not before he makes his way up to the halfway line.
Yeah, good interchange of passing early in the middle for Manly. They found space a few times. Joshua Blackburn made a good break earlier. I think it was Matthew Harris setting up one of his forwards there as well. And Chaz Dingo now, he makes a good break down the middle. The Warriors need to make adjustments in their middle defence.
Big time as Awatiri comes up. No, sorry, it was Corcoran coming up out of the line on Maverick Oldfield. Dangerous as they sling it wide. Butterfield cut out pass to Kay. Starting for the second week in a row. Will Kay, a metre out. Sadler, dummy half, goes left to Bennett on the charge on the cutback. The Warriors stop him. In fact, that's the final. So another into the set that the Manly Seagulls aren't able to get to their kick.
Yeah, it's bad. I want to say it's a bad start for Manly, doing everything right, but their fifth tackle options are leaving a lot to be desired. They've really chopped and changed their halves over the past few weeks. Could be a little bit of rust there, a little bit of indecision between the two of them. I'm not too sure, but I think they need to make some adjustments quickly, or the Warriors will start to make advantage of that as they give away a poor pass, and Matthew Harris is on the attack now.
Chance Bunce making that burst through the middle and got the call on the inside from, I think it was Daniel Ingo, or it could have been David Barner. And one of the Manly players comes away with it. So another opportunity here for the Seagulls. They're going to play the ball just outside the Warriors 20. They go to the left with Allison switching back off the left. Centre field now to Goodwin, the big Manly forwards getting their hands on the ball early in the game. Final tackle, they get it away this time. Butterfield putting it high to the wing of Borton Thompson. And he does well, comes down with it with a vast of Manly players around him.
Yeah, good take there from Borton Thompson. It had to be taken. It was a pretty good kick from Joshua Butterfield. Manly have missed their kicks a few times, but that was a good result for Manly. I want to give a rap to Matthew Harris. Big effort from the Manly skipper, retreating back to take that intercept. That put the Seagulls right back on the attack just as things are starting to look a bit grim.
Of course, Malachi Booth on that far wing for the Seagulls this afternoon, or this evening. Injury to Kane Chapman-Kenny last week. He'll find himself on the bench. A remarkable recovery from the young man after what was suspected as a possible season-ending injury. He will be
Northern Beaches.
Something in the sand up there. Punch through the line, gets the offload away as well to Bennett. Again, good support play by the big Manly forwards. Storming their way into the Warriors half once again as they come right to Blackburn. It's Tyrone Clay on that near wing. Goodwin charging it forward. Corcoran and Awatiri take him down. They stay the right side. Punch coming short off the shoulder of Butterfield. Taken down about a metre out. Is this the chance as Kay puts in the kick? Brilliantly picked up by Daniel Ingo.
Brilliant effort.
One-handed take from the big prop forward. I remember Daniel Ingo back in season 1, Jack. One of the standout performers for the Warriors in that final series. Really stepping up in the semi-final, scoring 2 tries. And then a try again in the final. And again in season 2, I remember that towards the back end of the season, it was Daniel Ingo really stepping up in that front row for the Warriors. And they'll really need him again here tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And when you've got a guy like John Nanai in the front row, he obviously is on the tip sheet all the time because he's so explosive and just such a good all-around front rower. So he's always getting muscled up. So his front row partner needs to do a good job to try and free him up a little bit more. When you've got Engo playing his best footy, that definitely helps. It was a great effort. That kick from Butterfield was right on the chest of the Manly chasers if he didn't come up with that play. So he saved a try for sure there for the Warriors.
Read it well off the foot of Butterfield, obviously making his way back into the starting lineup for Manly this week. It was Dingo partnering up with Will Kay last week against the Cowboys, but obviously a reshuffle had to be made with that injury. As Simons fumbles, referee says it goes backwards. Did look as though it did go backwards. Yeah, it did look as though it went backwards, even though it bounced forwards after the fact. For the Warriors this week, no real changes. Strange will find himself on the bench once again this week, as I can say that he's up on his feet at the moment, warming up with Seamus Walker, looking to make his way onto the park soon. But revelation off the bench last week, 130 odd metres in the 30 odd minutes that he played. Warriors on the final tackle. Good run from Borton Thompson on this near side. Ashford puts it high, and it's a good chase by the Warriors, led by David Barner and Jai McCartney, not allowing Chaz Dingo room to move.
That was a great kick, but I want to go back to the play before. They went down the blind side with some silky hands from David Barner, setting up Braun Thompson to make a strong run. Almost beat Chaz Dingo, but it was good all-around defence from Manly. And then that kick was really, really strong. They shut down Dingo, didn't let him get that sidestep on that we know is so dangerous, the footwork of Chaz Dingo, and now they've got Manly right where they want him.
Chaz Dingo, one of the top performers this season at the back for Manly. 27 line breaks, so he's dangerous on the counter-attack as Braun Thompson makes another break through the middle. Impressive the last couple of weeks, the young rookie for the Warriors. Had Corcoran on the outside. He decides to take the tackle, but they're only 18 metres out here of the Warriors as they go to Corcoran. Inside to Rogers. Good ball, good hands from Liam Rogers. Short this time. Ingo just trotting it forward an extra couple of metres. The Warriors have got a tackle, recount as well as Nanai. Does well, but he's good defence there by the Seagulls. Ashford with the ball, throws a dummy, catches the Seagulls defence napping. The Warriors open the scoring here at 4 Pines Park.
Oh, wow.
TJ Ashford just absolutely bamboozling the Manly defence.
They'll be filthy with that one, Manly, especially Matthew Harris. He will not be happy. You know, one thing the Warriors have done really well in recent weeks is their interchange of passing, you know, really using the ball, shifting from side to side. We saw that last week against the Broncos. It really moved around their forward pack and caused a lot of dramas, and I think Manly were expecting the same. But all of a sudden, in goes Ashford with a beautiful little scoop from dummy half. He faked with the long ball out wide to the left, and then his eyes lit up when he realised that the Manly defenders had fell for that dummy completely. The Warriors, I tipped on the podcast, I said that they'd win this game. I thought they were going to ambush Manly, and so far they have. As for Manly, you know, this has happened plenty of times recently. They just need to stick to their systems, and I think that they can come away with a win. We know how good they are at closing out games, whereas the Warriors, they start fast, but they struggle to close out games. So this is going to be a really interesting next 60 minutes.
Long way to go on this one as we see the Warriors make a mistake from the play of the ball. First set after scoring a try, and so often we see this, Jack. Teams scoring a try and then making an error or conceding a penalty that first set after the try.
Yeah, for sure. It's just, you've got to get to kick after scoring points. It's just always on the tip sheet. They say it all week, but it's just one of those things that just gets taken for granted sometimes. Now, Manly are on the attack. They've got to stay calm, they've got to stay composed, and they've got to stick to their game plan. They can't push passes and try and push for tries early on, and they're so good at that. They just got to stick to their process.
Yeah, about 3 metres out. I'm wondering whether they'll come this right side. Inside to Dingo, but great goal line defence from the Warriors. Final tackle now. Butterfield on the toe, and Kay comes through out of nowhere. Will Kay. Second try in 2 weeks.
What about that for 2 plays? Dingo almost scores with some of the best inside passing I've seen so far this season. And then Joshua Butterfield, his first grubber kick was perfect, but it was just taken by a Warrior. But this one was even better, landed straight where Will Kay wanted it, bamboozled the Warriors. And like I said, Manly, their pass from the scrum, not great, but they didn't panic. They just dove on the ball and they got back to work, and now they reap the rewards for being patient. That's what's key, composure, and they are one of the most composed sides in this competition.
Looking to convert his own try from about 15 metres out either way. No problems as Kay will equal it back up here at 4 Pines Park. Third try of the season for the 5'8", who has spent most of it on the bench. And I'll tell you what, the last couple of weeks, he has really ignited their back line.
Yeah, look, mate, if it wasn't for how well he played, especially last week, I honestly think Kyle Lewis would be starting in this side again, but he has fought his way into that Manly's number 7 jumper. It's really good to see. But Kamish, I want to ask you, what do you think this does for the Warriors' confidence after conceding a try like that? They've just had to absolutely scrap and fight really hard and work really hard for 20-odd minutes to get that try, and then Manly just, off of one error, all of a sudden Manly are back in this game.
Well, I think from the Warriors' point of view, they'll understand that Manly are a top-quality side and that one try doesn't determine an outcome of a game, and it all depends on how they can lift themselves up for the rest of this half, really, as Clay almost gets away. Got away from Bunce. Isaac Simons and Patrick Corcoran eventually got him, but it's Butterfield once again putting it high towards Borton Thompson, who does well, but it's Kay who's come through, trying to force him back into the in goal. Can't quite do it. Borton Thompson's a beast of a human. It's the Warriors, I think, that, as I was saying, Jack, they need to just calm things down and realise that there's a long way to go in this one. They've got the players to do it. They just have to play in the right frame of mind.
Yeah, and you know what? So far, if we're talking about right frame of mind, how good's Borton Thompson been? They've been peppering with him with bombs. They think that he might be that weak link in the back line for the Warriors, but he has taken every single bomb sent his way so far. He's had a great start to this game.
He has, as McCartney. Strong boot downfield, forcing the Manly outside backs down towards their own line. 27 minutes gone here at Four Pines Park. It's 6-all at the moment. The Warriors opened the scoring. Manly struck back just a couple of minutes ago. A couple of bench players have made their way onto the park. Seamus Walker and Logan Strange for the Warriors. Looks as though Creed, Alexander Chapman and Ben Punch have made their way on as well, as Bennett makes another one of his trademark runs up through the middle. Kay puts it high. Rogers coming through.
I think that the Warriors have used those interchanges really smart. They just obviously conceded that try about 8 minutes ago, and that's when Logan Strange came on. We know how experienced he is. He was in that grand final side of theirs. He will help keep the spirits calm as Bunsey makes a good break and beats Dingo. That's exactly what the Warriors need.
On the halfway line they play it. Good set so far, just sort of trying to eke their way down towards that Manly half. Barner plays the ball. McCartney once again kicking duties. He has the kicking boots on so far here this afternoon. Tyler Clay looking dangerous every time he touches the ball.
He's causing a lot of problems.
So centre field, Alex Chapman will play the ball. The Seagulls about 30 out as Allison goes straight through the middle. The big numbers to the left here. The Seagulls as Booth gets around the tackle of Awatiri, and I think it could have been Isaac Simons, the big Manly winger. What a try!
That is some beautiful footwork from the young fella. Beautiful ball out of the back, comes off his right foot and burns them for pace. He left them dumbfounded. That was Tuivasa Sheck early Roosters days like that try. That is some really, really good footy from the Manly Seagulls.
Great try to Malachi Booth. Obviously new to the SRL this season. Second try of his career as Will Kay drills it from the sideline. The Seagulls, their first lead of the game, 12 points to 6, 32 and a half minutes gone. Tuesday night action in the Simulation Rugby League. Round 7, Jack. We are moving into the business end of the season. Semi-finals next week. 5 teams still in the hunt to grab one of those top 4 spots. In all reality, you have to say 5 teams looking to fill 2 of those spots, with the Seagulls already qualified and the Cowboys, well, it would only take a major, both an upset and also a massive win for some other clubs to displace the Cowboys out of that top 4.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think I've ever seen such a close finals race in the SRL. It's been a really, really tight battle for the whole season, but especially sort of from round 4 onwards when it became clear who the serious contenders were and who were sort of just making up the numbers. The Warriors, they're definitely a serious contender. They're one of those sides, for me, they've got some of, if not the best, determination and dedication of any team. They play with so much passion, so much energy, and it's so good to see. I think if they make finals, the way they play is built for finals footy, but they've got to make it. They've got to either beat Manly tonight or hope the Broncos lose against South Sydney on Wednesday night.
If the Warriors can win tonight, that will put them up into second on the table. We do have a big game coming up later on after this one. It's the Eels taking on the Cowboys later on, and you know, both those, the Eels still technically can make the finals, but if the Warriors win tonight, that pretty much ruins the chances for the Broncos, Raiders and Eels. So if all those Broncos, Raiders and Eels fans will obviously be going for Manly. So yeah, if the Warriors win, they'll jump up to second. Cowboys will be third, Rabbitohs fourth. Cowboys will have a chance to secure that second position if they beat the Parramatta Eels later on tonight. If Manly win, will they go unbeaten throughout season 3? Then we've got Parramatta playing the Cowboys. If Parramatta can win tonight, they would need to win by around about, they'd need to put 50 points on a team. Well, they need to win by 25 to really have any chance in making your finals. And you have to say that would be pretty hard versus the Cowboys, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, they're one of the premiership heavyweights at the moment. But they've moved Eli Barnes back to fullback. I think that Luke Short knows they're chasing points, and I think that they want Eli Barnes roaming around the field, popping up everywhere to try and be that attacking spark in the next game. He knows
chasing
he wants
points,
to make
definitely. I mean, Damien Shelf has done a stand-up job in that number 1 for Parramatta over the last couple of weeks, and I think that if he was to stay at Parramatta for season 4, then he would definitely, you know, I mean, not definitely be that number 1 option, but definitely be considered. Obviously, they have made a couple of good signings just the last couple of weeks. Michael Crimp and Thomas Mendonca, in particular, could fill those positions. It's Corcoran.
Sure.
He's going to put it high. Tyler
30
Clay
seconds till half-time.
has no real problem there. Yeah, 30 seconds till half-time. Good first half from both sides. A few errors in the first couple of minutes, but overall a good half, Jack.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a really entertaining second half. This is the last play.
So half-time here at 4 Pines Park. It's the Seagulls leading 12 points to 6.
George's driving. He's too wasted. I should say something, but I could look dumb in front of Monique. Bro, Monique says you're dumb. But if he crashes, I'll have to live with his family.
Puzzle time.
And if he dies, Ghost George will haunt me forever.
Grab a chip. Want a chip?
You know I can't grab your ghost chips.
Go away.
Spoon.
Spacehead. Bro, Willie, what are you doing, bro?
Oh, I've been internalizing a really complicated situation in my head.
What are you on about?
I don't think you should drive.
Nah.
Nah, you're too drunk, bro. Just crash here.
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay.
Stop a mate from driving drunk. Legend.
Half time here at 4 Pines Park. It's 12 points to 6. The Seagulls, the defending premiers, leaning into the table at the moment, unbeaten in 8 games on the trot. 12 points to 6 over the Warriors, Jack. And, well, the Warriors know they have 40 minutes in front of them if they have any chance in keeping their Season 3 hopes alive.
Yeah, it's been a really entertaining first half. The Warriors started really well. They started aggressive. They were definitely ambushing the Manly Sea Eagles. They scored the first try of the game. TJ Ashford scored out of dummy half. But since then, Manly have really regained control of the game. Their halves have found a little bit more stability. They obviously started pretty poorly with some pretty average end of sets, but they've definitely improved. Their kicking game has been great. They've been locking the Warriors into corners. Malachi Booth and Will Kay have been the try scorers for Manly since then. But you know what? The Warriors aren't out of this game, but they need to improve their defense a little bit. They've had to make a lot more tackles. They've missed more tackles, 4 more tackles than Manly. So by that stat, they're obviously missing less tackles than Manly on a ratio when you consider they've made more tackles. But you know, they've still conceded 20 line breaks. So one guy they really need to look out for is Chaz Dingo. He's causing a lot of issues for them, especially down the middle as the forwards fatigue.
Yeah, it seems like the left edge for both sides is the go-to at the moment. Malachi Booth for the Sea Eagles and Nahana Borton-Thompson for the Warriors. Now, Nahana, both players are rookies this season, so how good is it to see some of these rookies really standing up at the business end of the season, the last game in the regular season, and they're really stepping up and trying to not just earn their contracts for next season, but get their teams into the finals.
Yeah, well, it's great on all sides, man. You know, it shows the Mines players that they can get up to this level. You know, these guys are rookies. They're in the same position. They were in the same position as these new Mines players only a few weeks ago. But, you know, all this grind and this week-to-week SRL action has finally started to pay off for these young rookies. They're starting to really find their footing just when they need to, just before finals. Of course, the Warriors still haven't technically made finals, but you know, Nahana is stepping up just as they need them to. And as for Malachi Booth, he's been a little bit inconsistent. He's been in and out of the side, but this has probably been his career best game so far. So I'm really keen to see how they go in the second half and if they can sustain that intensity and that performance for the full 80 minutes.
40 minutes of footy in front of us live on SRL TV, the home of eSports Rugby League. We will be back in a second. Tuesday night action here from 4 Pines Park. Opening game for round 3 in the Simulation Rugby League Premiership. It's the Seagulls with a 6-point lead at the moment. Chance Bunce restarts the game. And it's the Seagulls going right to left in the second half. A slight breeze behind them, Jack. I noticed you were down on the sideline during the half-time break,
Keep going.
talking to a couple of fans in the stand. What's the general feeling out there? Obviously, it's a Manly home game, majority Manly supporters, but did you manage to speak to any of the Warriors supporters out there?
4. Get back. Look at me. He's held there. Let him go.
Looks like we may have lost Jack. A few technical issues there. We'll wait and see
1. Release.
if we can get him back. It's the Warriors with the ball, and they've given it away. Looks like it was Barner trying to get the offload away to Jesse Bennett.
Release.
Couldn't quite get it away. So unfortunate for the Auckland side, obviously early in the second half, looking to get early points and definitely score first. They don't want to let Manly get out to too much of a lead. We know what they can do defensively, but attack-wise, one of the best attacking teams in the competition. Not necessarily the best. You know, they do have 139 points this season, awfully close to that record held by the Warriors in season 2 as Lewis puts it high. Another testing kick coming down for Bunce. I thought for a second we were going to see it hit the crossbar, but no such luck for the Seagulls.
Well, Buncey did really well there.
You
It was a
back,
tough
Jack?
kick to take. Yeah, man, I went to get a hot dog, my bad.
Oh,
But
good.
I've come back, and we're going set for set again. One thing Manly love is a grind.
Can I have
and
one of
think
those?
the Warriors-
Pass those chips over.
Yeah, but I got you. I knew that you'd want those.
You didn't get any tea sauce, man.
Oh, well, look, man, I was in a rush, yeah. We had to talk during half-time, and I always watch the breaks because I love the ad breaks. I love the Blunt Collections commercial. It's just tradition that you have to watch it. It's bad luck for my game tomorrow.
I
if I don't
saw
watch
you
it.
talking to Viggo Rasmussen down the sideline. He's obviously refereeing this game here tonight. He's sort of warming into that role, isn't he? He's, you know, getting used to it, and he's getting more confident game by game.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's had a couple shocking moments at times. I think it was that Brisbane Parramatta game where there was an absolute travesty that went placed in the in-goal after I think Parramatta put a little grubber kick in. I think 3 Parramatta players dived on the ball. I can't even remember what happened there. That's probably been his biggest shocker. But since then, his refereeing has been top class. So it's really good to see him start to adjust and get himself into one of the top referees in the SRL. We know how hard it is to be a referee, but he's doing a really good job so far.
Incredibly hard. He's doing really well. So it's the Seagulls, no score in the second half so far. The Warriors went close earlier on. It was Barner who gave away possession late in the count. Staying near side underneath us here in the commentary box. Short kick to Isaac Simons. Dangerous on kick returns last week. Got away from the first tackle of Oldfield. Couldn't quite get away from, I think it was Will Kay, or could have been Butterfield. No, Butterfield's off. Josh Butterfield has come from the field at half time, so
Back to 10.
not sure who it was, but we'll quickly run through these changes as well, Jack. Kyle Lewis has come on for Josh Butterfield in the halves, so that's going to be interesting to see those, so both Will Kay and Kyle Lewis combining for the second 40 minutes, obviously with Butterfield moving to South Sydney for season 4. It'll be interesting to see if Lewis and Kay are the preferred halves pairing.
Commish, it's an interesting one because I've got some insiders at Manly, and with Butterfield leaving, Bo Sadler's also leaving the club to head to the Brisbane Broncos, and Kyle Lewis is shaping up to be their hooker next season. And I remember my early tip sheet was that Lewis would actually come on at dummy half for Sadler, and Sadler would move into a lock position or onto the bench. But, you know, it looks like Captain Coach Matty Harris wasn't really happy with his halves performance in that first half, and he's decided to make a change. So, really interesting one.
Yeah, it is an interesting one. I mean, you know, Kyle Lewis was Rookie of the Season, correct me if I'm wrong, season 2, or he was definitely up there. I'm pretty sure he was Rookie of the Season. Byron Boone and Kyle Lewis with the most assists in the competition. And, you know, coming into season 3 was, you know, what regarded as one of the better halves in the competition. And yeah, to see him move to the hooker position, I mean, you can't really judge it until it's happened. But I was a little bit surprised, if I'm honest, to hear that Kyle Lewis could be moving into that number 9 role with, you know, all the, you know, the plaudits that he's had over the last 6 months or so.
Yeah, well, you know what? He's a Queensland representative in the halves too. Let's not forget he's made his representative debut in the halves. I've never actually really seen him at hooker, but he's pushing for a half spot for Australia. I actually had him as my predicted 5'8" for Australia, so it's a really interesting one.
Yeah, it's cool. That was a great take by Sean Walker. Sorry, Jack. That was an amazing kick by Josh Corcoran. And under pressure, that was a good set from the Warriors.
Yeah, for sure. But also on Lewis, you know, I think it's a really interesting change from Matty Harris, but no one knows the game like Matty Harris. He puts a lot of work into his side. He's a really good tactician, so he'd have a good plan.
I don't know, Jack. I mean, you and I watch plenty of SRL games together. We know the game pretty well as well. And, you know, I think Rugby League Live 4 is just one of those games where anything can happen. And we've seen it many a times over the last couple of seasons where you think you're making the right decision or you think you've made the wrong decision. But stranger things can happen.
For sure. I think one of the most important things to do in this competition is experiment. One thing that Canberra haven't done great is we've sort of, you know, we've just stuck solid with a side that was playing okay but wasn't quite getting the job done. Whereas now we finally made changes with 1 week to go, and I think that was the right decision. I think you've got to experiment with the side, which Matty Harris has done this season to his credit. So you've got to try and find the best combinations and the players that fit the positions the best too with their skills and their attributes.
Warriors on a bit of a roll at the moment. They're getting some good field position and some good runs out of dummy half as well. About 30 metres out, still tackle 4 as McGalley puts Corcoran through a small hole and he makes his way into the backfield. Just what they wanted on the final tackle. Inside the Seagulls 10. Slow play the ball from Patrick. They go short to McGalley. Bunce picks it up. I'm not sure if he knocked it on. He did. I suspected he had. I thought for a moment the referee called play on.
Yeah, the slow play the ball really let them down there, Kamish. You know, they were really rolling and they were very close to the try line, which let Manly get up fast because of that slow play the ball. If they were still moving, they had got a quick play the ball, Manly would have still been moving back to get onside, and that would have given a chance for Miguel to put in a better kick with less pressure on him, and they probably would have scored off it, but really good pressure from Manly, as now they're rolling downfield big time.
Lots of metres gained in this set. Harris goes to his 5'8", 69 metres in this set from the Seagulls. Not a bad one at all. Here's Sadler, goes to Dingo, slices through the middle, puts it on the toe, and Will Kay grabs a second for the night. Chaz Dingo, absolutely sensational.
If he's not the best player in the SRL, you're kidding yourself. What a perfect rubber kick. It was a terrible end to the set for Manly, but he puts in the perfect kick. Beautiful footwork, he made up for it big time. Will Kay's got a double. Oh, that's such good footy.
Broughton Thompson was caught just floundering in the in goal. Bunce had to come up on Dingo and he just laid it down for Will Kay, who timed his run to absolute perfection.
That is arguably the try of the season. That was so good to watch. That is such good footy from such a great instinct player. Chaz Dingo, take a bow.
Will Kay converts. The Seagulls out to an 18 points to 6 lead. 57 and a half minutes gone. Both these sides have met twice before in the SRL. It was the Warriors back in season 1 getting the spoils, winning 18 points to 6. One try to the Seagulls. It was through Matthew Harris. The Warriors scoring through Rod Curran, Jordan Ford and Sage McGalley. Season 2, it was the Seagulls getting the points from memory. This could have been the opening game of the opening round game for each of these teams. Seagulls won 36 points to 18 at Mount Smart away from home. Sam Herbin scoring 4 tries in that game. Matt Harris juggling the ball for a moment there. Could have been through a gap if he'd held on to it. And Lewis has been caught with the ball.
Yeah, bad end to the set there for Manly, actually. Kyle Lewis tried to do his best Chaz Dingo impression, but there's only one Dingo. They really needed a good kick into the corner to end that set, because the Warriors on first tackle are up to the 40 already. They need to complete this set, the Warriors, and try and get back into this grind. They've got 20 minutes, 2 tries. That's not hard. In this competition, we know you can score tries at will at times, so I think the Warriors can definitely find some points. As Jesse Bennett has come away from that tackle, he doesn't look great.
He is not looking healthy at all. He's clutching that left elbow. The big front rower. Well, he started number 13 tonight. He's moved to the front row. But that is not good signs going into a semi-final next week.
He looks out on his feet. I think he might have copped a knee there as he was going in low for that tackle, as there's an error here from the Warriors, and I suspect he might come off. Yeah, he has. I don't see him on the field anymore.
So Jesse Bennett has come from the field. The Seagulls going through a bit of a patch of injuries at the moment.
They lost Kane Chapman-Kenny last week to injury, and now this week it's looking like Jesse Bennett, who has been one of their best forwards, if not their best forward this season, is now coming off with an injury. I might go down and see what's going on.
Looks like Malachi Booth has come back onto the park in place of Jesse Bennett. Not a bad replacement, you'd have to say. He is a beast of a man, Malachi Booth. Centre field here for the Seagulls. It's Sadler to play the ball. Final tackle. They're about 21 metres out. Dingo's going to go flat to Lewis. On the toe once again. Testing for Sean Walker. And that left edge of the Warriors has been under pressure pretty much all night. Really need to spend more time on this near side, the Warriors. Isaac Simons has barely touched the ball. They love that left edge, do the Warriors. That's Barner up into contact, sort of struggling, trying to gain those extra metres, looking for the inside. It was as Bunce, who was just hovering, ready to pounce on the inside, but they've given away possession inside their own half. Probably didn't need to push that one, Jack.
No, he didn't. That was a good play from Matthew Harris. Got himself exactly where he needed it. He read the play perfectly as Chapman-Kenny is driving for the line. He's held up. I just got the diagnosis on Bennett, but I'll wait till the end of this set. Manly are rolling.
Good defence so far. Lewis almost stretches out. Sadler goes long. Centre field to the skipper. Harris. Good defence on him from Chance Bunce and TJ Ashford. Numbers to the left, they go right. Booth is called for it, and he picks it up. Goes straight forward, Malachi Booth over the line, but the Warriors' defence holds him out this time.
That was one of the best defensive passages I've seen so far this season.
Big defence.
Such good dedication. There was about 3 try-saving tackles in that set. You could even save 4 on Jesse Bennett. It looks like a concussion. He did hurt his elbow in that tackle, like you alluded to, Kamish. But he's definitely got concussion symptoms. He's gone straight up the tunnels for a head injury assessment, but he won't be back tonight.
Yeah, I thought he's sort of clutching at his elbow or his shoulder. Sometimes the symptoms. Yeah, sometimes the symptoms of concussion can affect many parts of the body, as you would know, Jack. As McGalley will send that one down. Again, forcing Clay backwards, always beating the first defender. Tyler Clay, or is it Tyrone? I'm never sure. Up to the 40 they go. It's Kay this time. Career-defining performance from Will Kay so far tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really happy to see him playing so well. He's been a bench warmer for most of the season, but he's in great form. I mean, if you're going off these last 2 games, he's probably had the best 2 games of any half in the comp, arguably at the moment. He's really turned it on. It's really good to see from Will.
68 minutes gone here at 4 Pines Park. The Seagulls holding a 12-point lead at the moment. Relatively low-scoring affair so far. 2 good defensive teams. But the Warriors just really struggling to make any inroads on the Seagulls' defence. As they come near side, they go to Simons for the first time in what seems like an age, and he meets the first defender front on and beats him. Maxwell, a dummy half, they go to Bunce. The captain looking to get his side back in touching distance. They go blind side or short side to Corcoran. That's Josh, only a metre short. Final tackle now. It's Ashford, dummy half. They go to Patrick, and once again the Warriors have messed it up on the final tackles. A Manly rushing defence. Pressure on Patrick Corcoran. And that's the story of their night so far.
Yeah, Manly have just gone to another level in the second half. I talked about them just in the first half. I said they just need to stick to their systems, and the Warriors, of course, were ambushing them and going at them and to back themselves to get over the Warriors, and they've done just that. Their rushing defence has been great. It's been their kick pressure that has really stopped the Warriors from building any pressure in this second half, and the Manly have been able to cruise downfield due to all the fatigue.
Liam Rogers almost penalised there for offside play. A couple of these Warriors forwards really starting to struggle out there. It's warm here today in Manly. It's been a pretty hot temperature throughout the week. In fact, the Warriors arriving here on Sunday morning. Would you say that 2 days is enough time to acclimatise after travelling from Auckland all the way to Manly? Obviously, coming from Auckland where it's middle of winter over in New Zealand at the moment.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, Kamish. Did they play at home last week? Who did they play in Brisbane? Where did they play Brisbane?
At home. That was at home. The Warriors have got a penalty here. Yeah, that game was at Mount Smart against the Broncos.
Yeah, it's an interesting one for me. As soon as they did recovery the next day, the day after that, I would have shipped the team straight over and done, just done a bit of bonding, got them all together.
Yeah,
it's probably not a good decision from the Warriors in that regard.
As you know, Jack, you're all about bonding and the importance of it within the team at the Raiders. The Warriors, Ashford almost starts from dummy half, decides at the last moment to go to Sage McGalley. Still a couple of tackles remaining here. The Warriors, you'd have to say they have to score now. They have to score, the Warriors. Barner plays the ball only inches short as Ashford decides to dart from dummy half once again. Third or fourth time I've seen that. So final tackle, the Warriors, finals hopes in the balance. McGalley puts it high at Chaz Dingo, safe at the back. The Warriors chasers never really got through. In fact, I think Manly, their blockers worked the treat that time.
The thing about Manly is that they just frustrate you. They frustrated the Cowboys. We saw Captain Chris Lord sent to the bin. The Manly, they make it niggly and they just annoy you. They just make you do things that you wouldn't normally do. The Warriors, their attack just isn't clicking tonight because they're just frustrated. They're frustrated and not getting over this Manly side at the moment. And even with an injury, Manly just stick to their systems. They are such a good rugby league system. But this is it. The Warriors have got really good field position now. They need to use the ball. They need to score in the next, I would say, 3 plays to have a shot.
You're right, Jack. It's counting down to 4 minutes remaining here in Manly. Tuesday night action on SRL TV. The final round of competition as McGalley is hitting a big tackle by, I think it was Josh Butterfield, or it could have been Josh Blackburn, in fact. As the clock ticks down, Manly, will they go 9 in a row? Ashford put it high. The last dance coming through. Tyler Clay takes it.
That's one. Move.
And that will probably be it with less than 3 minutes remaining.
Yeah, especially when Butterfield's going straight through like that. They should have tried to force an error. Great offload. Another great ball. Allison.
Good support play around the Manly attack is just clicking at the moment. Up to the 40. Can they finish it off? Couple of tackles remaining as Harris charges through the middle. Had Booth on his outside. Bunce came up on him a little bit quicker than he was expecting. Tackle 4 here. Allison. Couple of players outside him decides to take it into the tackle. So the Seagulls, last chance for the game. Lewis on the toe and can't get the ball away. Good defence from the Warriors. Rushing up on Rockall Lewis. But overall, a great defensive game by the Seagulls. It was the Warriors opening the game. First try in the first 10 minutes of the game. But since then, it's been all the Seagulls.
Yeah, the Seagulls, they are such a good system. They never panicked when the Warriors crashed in. The Warriors played 20 minutes of really good, gritty footy. They fought tooth and nail for that first try. But Manly were not phased at all. The Warriors made an error. Manly scored the set after, and from there, Manly just cruised to victory. They had to do it the hard way at times. The Warriors gave it to them, but just not consistently, just not for that 80 minutes. Good performance from Manly, good consistent performance right before finals.
So Manly go through the entire SRL Season 3. Unbeaten regular season. Jack, it's the first time that has happened.
Yeah, and you know what? It might be a good thing, Kamish. I said it on the podcast earlier in this week. Both minor premier sides from the last 2 seasons were 6-1 and 6-1, and they both got knocked out in the first week of the finals. Of course, the finals format has slightly changed this season, but still, you know, breaking tradition a little bit there for Manly. It would be something special if they could go back-to-back undefeated. And right now, they look just like the team to do it. They just look so untouchable at times.
3 tries to 1. Will Kay scoring 2 of them for the Seagulls. 18 points to 6. Outright winners. You have to say it's the tackles the Warriors forced to complete close to 40 extra tackles compared to Manly, or just over 30, in fact, 33 extra tackles. And the amount of energy that saps from you, Jack, it was definitely evident in that second half when the Warriors just struggled to have any sort of punch or penetration into that Seagulls backfield.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, there's 2 alarming stats there for me. I think it was 8 errors from the Warriors compared to 3 from Manly, which always puts you under pressure. And then they obviously had to make a lot more tackles. But you look at the line breaks and the missed tackles, it's very similar. So, you know, at times the Warriors did test Manly. However, Manly are just such a good system, and they just held them back, and they just made them pay for every single error. And it really did seep all the energy out of the Warriors. So great performance from Manly.
Chaz Dingo topping the tackle count this evening, making 21 tackles, along with Bo Sadler, who didn't miss a single one. No real standout performance. I mean, I think Chaz Dingo had a really good game. I think Will Kay had a very good game as well. But yeah, the Seagulls just too strong at the end of the day, and the Warriors will have to wait and see what happens in the remaining games coming up over the next, well, one game tonight, which is Parramatta and the Cowboys coming up next, but tomorrow night is going to be the big night.
Yeah, for sure. Just on the Manly stats, you know, there's no standout like you said, but that's just because, you know, they're such a well-drilled system. Everybody just does their job, and that's why they get the results. There's no one that carries the team per se. They all just do their job, man. 193
metres for Jesse Bennett, only 62 minutes, obviously injured halfway through that second half, but 193 metres, not a bad performance for someone who, you know, is an 80-minute player.
Yeah, for sure. Like, he was on fire till that injury. He probably he just wore himself out, I think, and that fatigue obviously cost him when he got his head in the wrong place. He doesn't normally do that. He has really good tackling technique, but he was really fired up for this game. But look at the amount of Manly players that got over 100 metres too. That, again, is just a testament to how hard they work. And then you had 2 on 83, which isn't far off. Kyle Lewis came off the bench. He only played 40 minutes. Daniel
Compare
Punch
that to
played
the Warriors.
80. Sorry. Yeah, and then the Warriors, pretty similar too, but you look at guys like Chance Bunce, he really had to get through a lot of work to try and get them into good field position, whereas the Manly forwards, they're just always rolling downfield. Whereas David Barner, 152 metres. The next was John Nanai, 124. Engo, 109. Compared to the Manly forwards dominated the Warriors forwards yardage-wise.
We talked about Logan Strange coming off the bench last week, who really, made an impact in that second half for the Warriors. Only 2 runs this week for 9 metres. What is that?
That's really poor from a senior player. But I just wonder if it worked against a really good side. I mean, a side that's struggling per se in the Broncos, but then you look at a side like Manly that's so good, he would have been right on the top of their tip sheet. We know what type of reputation he has in the game. I wonder if the Warriors do end up making finals next week, if they maybe change that rotation a little bit.
Definitely on the cards, Jack. Well, thanks for joining me once again. And shall we get going and get ready for this Eels-Cowboys game coming up next?
Yeah, for sure. We better jump in the taxi and head on down.
We will see you there. Tuesday night action. This time it's TIO Stadium hosting the second game for the night. Round 7 action in the Simulation Rugby League. And Jack, the Cowboys, second on the table at the moment, with the Warriors not able to grab the 2 points against Manly. They will be looking to grab the points here against Parramatta, who have got this season pretty much in the balance.
Yeah, Commissioner, it's going to be a really good game. Parramatta, they should be fired up for this game, whereas the Cowboys, you know, they're on really good form. They tested the Manly Seagulls at times last week, but, you know, I think that the Cowboys will be too strong in this one.
Parramatta needing to win by 26 points to move up to 4th on the table. Then they'll need the Rabbitohs to beat the Broncos, etc, etc, etc. Charlie Butler gets the game underway. It's the Cowboys, their best season in the SRL to date. What a change in fortune it has been for North Queensland after struggling for the last couple of seasons to find any sort of cohesion and leadership at the front office. But they will look to book their finals berth here away from home, Parramatta's home game, as they get through their first set. Kicking on the 4th, I think they're looking for outside back Bonte Kambalo. Running onto that one, doesn't quite get the communication from the inside. So it's Manly on the halfway line to get their first set underway.
Yeah, Commish. I think we've had a little glitch in the system with the SRL TV system. We are still on the Manly and Warriors stream. I thought I should let you know. I've just got a word in my ear, but